Truth is, I've been fiddling about with things I don't fully understand for my whole life. Motorcycles, domestic plumbing, women. Best we can hope for in such endeavours is that through immersion in the task, an understanding develops. To that end, here we are back at the hammers and shears. Years ago, a friend in the Vintage Motorcycle Club offered me a front guard, new old stock, thought to be Panther. I identified it as a Model 50 part and was soon able to find it a home. Then I bought my Grand Sports, which came, you guessed it, in need of a front mudguard. I've had this photo on file a long time, with a note of vital measurements. The deep valanced front guard was a special for this model. I picked up a basic front blade in steel, not long enough but something that might be modified. In retrospect, it was probably not the best way to approach this, but with it balanced on spacer blocks on the front tyre, it did help to set things out in 3 dimensions. I could stand back and assess. Sometimes eye happiness trumps dimensional perfection. A template for the sides was offered up and a couple of sections cut, which identified the shortfall in length. Job number 1 is to beat out this piece of the same profile and extend the basic guard. Process is similar to that used on the rear mudguard, stretching the centre on sandbag and stump, reducing material at the edges. You can see some nice peaks forming here, ready to be shrunk. I got impatient after a bit and transferred to the shrinker, which is quicker and more precise, but it does leave marks. I'm not expected to complete this to paint stage without using any filler. One day perhaps I'll be that good. Wheeling the rough stuff takes some effort until you knock the corners off. When I get a moment, I'll bolt the wheeling machine more solidly to its stand. Beating over a section of bar about the right radius refines the curve. I offer up the new section to my bought guard and, happy that it's about right, scribe and hammer out my version of a rolled edge. A lip at the end will help align to the main blade for welding. That bought blade gets cut off square for the same treatment. and so to the sides. When they are more accurately sized, checking against the blade and the drawing, I can see that the guard needs to be a little wider and deeper. To avoid complication, the side and valance are made in one piece. I scribe a line with dividers and roll a bead along between the two sections to give the impression of a joint and add stiffness without further welding. The lower edges of the original were finished with a rolled bead. I start mine in the roller and then dress back by hand. The added section is also finished to replicate the other's rolled edges, with a folded return at the rear. Just listen to the satisfying solid beat of the hammer as folds form. It may draw your attention away from the fact that my first extension piece for the centre wasn't long enough, and I had to rip it up and start again. The side extensions with their valances are adjusted in the shrinker and on a stake, clamped to the guard, scribed and cut about 3 mm oversize. Here I have attached one side. The second is trimmed before that too gets connected. Always tack and assess before you commit to full welds. My wood blocks give an approximation of the guard to tyre clearance. Stand back and compare the photo. Close enough. The stays are next. I cut a strip of 4mm stuff along a straight edge, a radius at each end. This centre saddle bolts to the forks. Question: what makes a smart meter smart? A plasma cutter on a 45 amp main. And no, I can't promise never to do that again. My chunk of bar helps put in an initial curve with a yo heave ho. When I run out of muscle, the bench vise takes over. Mind your backs. Tweaks make it square and true, and set width to sit snugly inside the guard. Put eye protection on and tidy up with an abrasive flap disc. The holes are for bolts to the fork stanchions. Position and tack to the guard. So why am I attacking the centre strap with a die grinder? Maybe I marked for the front edge position and then aligned to the rear edge. Or was I demonstrating the importance of tack welds and double checks before you commit? Ah, yes, that was it. Front and rear straps will attach the stays. The Model 50 Grand Sports, I do love that grand title, it shares hubs with the late heavyweight Panthers, and as with those, the mudguard's rear stay doubles as a front wheel stand. It's a complex shape, and a simple jig can help in creating tight and symmetrical bends. I've drawn it out onto cartridge paper to aid setting out. The plan is to make the first bends around the longer tubes, dropping onto shorter ones for reverse bends as shaping proceeds. MIG welding makes short work of simple fabrications like this. The hearth has its own air compressor, and with propane gas creates enough excess heat to want the workshop door open, even on a cold day. Red hot, the 9/16 inch tube forms easily. It's a back and forth process until the shape matches the drawing. The front stays are hacksaw cut and bent. tube ends are crushed oval in the vise to take short reinforcing pieces of 3mm steel before crushing under a V-shaped block in the press. Grind and sand a neat radius and mark up for drilling. Thin mudguard steel flexes readily to force offline holes to meet up, but it results in stresses in a bolted up structure, and in time it will de-stress by cracking at its weakest point. So take the time to align bolt holes and the meeting faces of stay and strap before you tighten up. Long stepped nuts from stainless steel hex bar will secure the stand and need only slackening to drop it down for use. And there we are, not bad. A skim of filler and a lick of paint, and all our sins will be a secret, just between we two.